Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Panzer Corps II, a new game out by Flashback Games and published by Slytherin and Matrix Games. It's available both on Slytherin and Matrix's website as well as directly on Steam, and it is available today. Well, not as of today, it's been out for a few days, but this is part number 11 of a Let's Play series that we've been running on the channel. It is taken from a Twitch live stream, which I did on my channel a couple of days back, and we just won the Battle of Kiev. We're about to move on to the battle for the gates of Moscow, the drive on the capital itself and all of the surrounding cities of it. And it's a pretty big one. It's a pretty interesting one. There's some ebbs and flows. There was definitely a period where I thought I might not win it, and there were periods where I thought I was going to win it easily. And I think it's an entertaining watch. I had not quite, but almost a record number of viewers watching on the Twitch stream as I was kind of playing through it. So I think it's a worthwhile watch, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So why don't you go ahead and sit back, relax, and see how the first attempt of my drive on Moscow unfolded, and let me know your thoughts down below. But I'll catch you guys at the end. We'll probably split this battle into two parts, just because it was about 2 hours long. But that's enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and jump in, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Herr General, we have come so far in the past few months of this campaign, and now we find ourselves on the doorstep of Moscow itself. High Command has greenlit Operation Typhoon, and your forces have been personally selected for the final push to the Soviet capital. Your objective is to breach the final defending lines before Moscow, and prepare to assault the city itself. Major pockets of enemy forces at Vyazma and Bryansk will need to be dealt with first. To ensure a good striking position on Moscow, cities as far north as Kalinin and south as Orel must be occupied. I suggest you move quickly, though. There are ominous clouds on the horizon.
There are ominous clouds on the horizon. Does he, like, literally see the snow clouds coming in? Because if that's the case, it's probably too late. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Mad Ben, you can win the war as Germany. One of the appeals, I think, of Panzer Corps and Panzer General before it was sort of the dynamic branching campaign. Now, the one thing that I'm not clear about in this game is that I don't think this game does a great job of communicating what your major victories are versus minor victories. So in the original game, like if you won a major victory at Moscow 41, you would knock Russia out of the war. If you won a minor victory in Moscow 41, they would, you know, it basically it happens too late in the year and the Russian winter counteroffensive retakes the city. But in any event, after the battle. But yeah, there's depending on how you do, there's branching paths. It's not as clear to me in this game how that works, though, because it doesn't very clearly tell you what are major and minor victories, if they even exist. All right, so we've got Daniel Klein. He's a new hero. His unit always attacks first, so he's got the first strike capability. So first things first, we've got 2100 prestige. Let's reinforce. Some of these units are already really weak, so we're not actually going to spend anywhere near as much prestige on elite reinforcements because we don't have as many well-experienced troops. But I do want to use the elite reinforcements as much as I can because my unit, I can't afford to lose even more experience than I already have. But yeah, most of these units are like level 1. The exception is our artillery units. And our air units. Our air units are pretty damn experienced. The Storches don't matter. They're experience level. That strategic bomber unit's almost a 4-star unit. Wow. So this guy's a Ju-87R. The B would be a downgrade. Do we have any upgrades for our other units? Or are we still... The Junior 217? No, the Ju-88 would be a downgrade. BF-110D. We could upgrade it to the Ju-87R. I actually like the BF-110. I know it's You know, typically not a very popular aircraft, but I really do like sort of the ability to go after air units and ground units. I think that's a nice trait to have. It doesn't look like any of our fighters or any of our air units can be upgraded. The Sturmpanzer, I think, is still the most advanced of our... the Karl Gerhardt still sits there as a prototype. Only 1,400 gold now. We could almost afford it. I like the Sturmpanzer, so we're going to keep that. All of our artillery is now 10.5 centimeters with horse artillery or horse-drawn artillery. Our Panzer IVs. Looks like we've got the Panzer IIIJ as a new type of unit, so let's take a look at our Panzer IIIHs. Maybe we want to upgrade those. See what that would entail. So the J would only be a 12 IP upgrade. It would improve the ground defense by 1 with no other losses, so we might as well upgrade all of our 3Hs to the 3J. Horse-drawn without truck means no, there's no supply toll. Yeah, I go with the horse-drawn because they can't run out of fuel. Granted, I haven't had any fuel issues in this game since my first time playing where I used the penalty against supply. Alright, so we've got 7 more slots to fill. I think 5 armor's probably enough. I honestly think we probably want another Pioneer unit. And then let's see what else we want. So let's go to the purchase here. Let's go to the infantry. Pioneer units are really good at attacking dug-in enemy troops, so we're going to do that. We'll give them Opal Blitzes. Add them to the basket. And then that leaves us with 3 left over. Maybe we even go with another Fallschirmjäger. Or maybe Grenadier. We'll go with Grenadiers, heavy infantry. So we'll do that, and we'll go with an Opal... Or, sorry. Grenadiers with a Opal Blitz. Okay, so we've got 2 new units that strengthen us to 80. That gives us 7 infantry units, 5 tank units, 2 recon units, 4 artillery, 2 fighters, 4 tactical air, 1 strategic bomber. If we zoom out here, this is the gates of Moscow. So Moscow is here, but it doesn't look like Moscow is actually an objective. It is a supply point, so I don't know if we get to Moscow, if that gives us a different victory than if we just capture the surrounding areas of Moscow. But we do need to get all of these objectives. There are 10 of them. I have a hunch this is going to be a slog of a battle through entrenched position after entrenched position. It looks like all of our units have to be deployed in the south. Well, actually, this is a pretty wide front. So there's troops in the north, but we don't deploy there near Rezhev. There's troops in Smolensk, sort of, and then Roosevelt, and then south. We need to take Kursk in the south, drive north to Orel. This is a big map, at least in terms of geography covered. Bryansk in the south, and there's entrenchments all in front of Moscow. Vizima and Rezhev. Yeah, this is gonna be a big one. I think the frontal assault will be the most difficult, so I'm going to assign 2 artillery units. Well, 1 here, so these guys are in pretty close proximity. We'll then deploy 1 artillery unit south, further south. We'll do the self-propelled with the troops down near Kursk. We'll also do 1 infantry unit down here. We'll do the 14th Ver. Then as we move north near Roosevelt, we'll deploy one of our Panzer IVs and one of our Panzer IIIJs. I'll actually deploy a recon car here, a recon car here, I think. Panzer IVs are going to be needed to... Well, actually, let's pull them up. Put these guys on the roadway. Are going to need to be in assistance with our drive on Moscow itself. Pioneers will be needed on both of these sort of central assault routes. Grenadiers here. These tanks are going to support north. They're going to drive north to help there. Maybe one heavier tank in the south. We've got one more artillery piece, which I think I'll deploy here. Air units. Deploy one fighter north, one fighter in the center. I can also deploy in the south, but I can hit probably everything that I need to from Roosevelt versus bringing it almost completely out of the front to bring down to the southern airfield. The Stuka will be up north with the 20. This guy will be in the south. We'll get recon far in the south, and then we'll get recon here in the north, and then we'll go with our strat bomber in the center. So the overstrength doesn't have anything to do with experience, guys. The overstrength in Panzer Corps I it did, but in Panzer Corps II you can overstrength any unit. All right, so let's... Is this in the air or on the ground? Okay, so the Fallschirmjägers are on the ground. So these are basically just ground infantry. So we'll just deploy them like so. And I think that's all the units. So we'll end the deployment phase and we'll move in. Some of your heroes. Whoops, forgot about the heroes. So... Not sure who we want to make sure always goes first. Probably the Pioneers, right? Because they're pretty vulnerable against enemy counterattacks. Alright. It's going to be cloudy. Alright, enemy anti-tank guns here and here. Okay, so that was a pretty effective recon sweep. We can see recon cars out here in front of Rzhev. Not a ton of enemy troops here in front of Vizima, or however you pronounce that. Meanwhile, in the south, let's also do a recon move up past Brzezinsk. So you can see here one armored unit here, and then some infantry and artillery. Quite a lot of enemy troops in and around Brzezinsk. Also, there's an enemy DB3. Is that the only air unit we spotted here on our sweep? It is. Our guys in the north can't get to it. Our fighters in the south can. But presumably the anti-aircraft fire is going to prevent them from being too effective. So I think we'll actually wait till they bomb us once before we go in on the attacking the enemy air force. I'm going to let them attack us first. Meanwhile, we've got a 15-centimeter SIG down here in the south. Let's move this guy forward. We're going to go ahead and bombard. It looks like a field howitzer or something. All right, so a 3-6, and we drove them out of the city. So probably would have been better if I didn't move those infantry, but in any event, we drove them out of the city first. Anti-tank guns here, and so let's attack. Oh, 0-6, nice. So I'll drive them back. I'll have my infantry pursue and wipe these guys out. This artillery down here will go after these troops. Our Stukas will, I guess, dive bomb them. My recon cars will come down here to attack them. That'll do exactly what I wanted it to do. It'll drive them off the hex. My fighter unit will be adjacent to the Stuka, so I think it'll still provide fighter support. My armor up here will attack and overrun, and then move north. So that was a pretty successful start to the offensive here. Obrata and Scorpio Fozeb, thank you very much for the follows. Alright, so we advanced successfully here toward Vizima. Alright, we'll attack them here. They're encircled. Two, three, 2, 3. So our Panzer IIIJ attacks there, drives them out. And we eliminated them. A recon car will take the city. I did divert my armored thrust north, but I want, right, you know, the logic there is really making sure that we protect our flank as we advance on the enemy. Move that artillery forward here. God, this, honestly, now that I heard it once, I'm going to immediately think of Pokemon every single time. It sounds so much like a, oh wow, these first Pioneers are going to assault these Soviet infantry incredibly effectively. 7 to 1. We'll pursue with the Grenadiers. And regular infantry south here. We'll move these Grenadiers east. The main drive out of Smolensk can assist with some of these troops here. Also move on Vizima, maybe try and flank it. But we're eliminating some enemy units here early on pretty effectively. These 24th Wehr will go after the enemy anti-tank guns. 5 to 1. Actually 5 to nothing. Flammenpanzers, yeah! Woo! Flamethrower tanks! Yeah! Alright, so we'll finish them off with our recon cars, and then we'll pull out of the city because I really don't want to be city fighting there at Brzezinsk. Okay, so we'll move our Sturmpanzer up. We'll get a 1 to 4. Gladly take that. And there actually, it's just a suppression that we lost, not an actual casualty. So that tank will fall back. We'll finish these guys off. Get the overrun. 1 to 5. Nice. Two to 4. Enemy artillery in support at Brzezinsk, but I will take a few casualties there to inflict some damage on the enemy. We destroyed half this regular unit's strength, so we're moving on Brzezinsk from the south as well as from the west. Actually, we're converging on 3 directions: southwest, west, and I guess a little bit of northwest. They do have some strong reserves, it looks like, some armored units behind Brzezinsk that can counterattack. I don't have a good picture of what they have in other sections of the map. But that's a pretty effective turn, I think. Again, I don't want to move units in too close at this time. I don't want to overextend. We've got 10 objectives to take in 30 days. But that'll do it for turn number 1, so we'll see what turn number 2 has. Obrada, the campaign, is currently only from the Axis side. What I will say is that in the previous version of Panzer Corps, they did release DLC that allowed you to play as the Soviet campaign or as a Western Allied campaign. Meanwhile, Soviet fighters move in here to hit our Stukas, but our escorts ravage them. 8 enemy hit points lost to only 1 of our Stukas, and a bunch of other air units, strategic bombers, tactical bombers coming in here. Enemy cavalry attacking our recon. The Soviets have gone full offensive. So if I have one gripe with this game, oh wow, they got around our flank and hit our artillery. If I have one gripe about this game is that sometimes the AI is just a little too aggressive, like beyond the realm of feasibility. Alright, so these guys are probably in range of these BF-110s. We'll see if these guys can finish off these Soviet MiGs. Ugh! Just couldn't quite do it. So we'll move up here and hit them. Enemy MiGs are gone. 5 or 7. We'll go after these enemy strategic bombers here. Three, 0 to 4. Alright, our armor will pursue to the north, then they'll swing back west against these enemy anti-tank guns. Okay. Wow, they reinforce pretty heavily too. Okay. So there's not a lot behind Vizhema. These strat bombers. Where do I want to head? I'm not really advancing here quite yet. Well, I could be. Okay, these enemy troops are just in favorable terrain. So actually, let's swing around these troops and circle them. Advance here, finish those guys off. Alright. Recon vehicles swing in there. Move our infantry north. We're kind of advancing on Kaluga and Malzovets, or however you pronounce that. But we've taken both these airfields here. Enemy T-26s and T-34s here. That does put our recon car a little bit overextended. Let's strat bomb these T-34s in an effort to limit the effectiveness of their counteroffensive, because I'm assuming it's going to come. Alright, so let's bombard these guys. Grenadiers there. The enemy anti-tank guns seem to be the weak spot in their line. So we took this city, drove the Soviets out at relatively light casualties, and we're moving on Brzezinsk. Meanwhile, in the south, okay, so we drove the infantry back. That is awesome. We'll attack with our infantry there. Pursue the artillery, which retreated here. Hopefully destroy it. We do, then we get the breakthrough or the overrun. Drive them further back. Then we get this attack here with our panzers on the flank there. We also get the overrun, but I can't really do anything with it. I should really keep an eye for like what's over this direction. Soviet KV-41s and T-50s. The KV-41s are going to be a problem. They could eat through a Panzer 1B with relative ease. I don't have a lot down here that can stop them. The 3J is our best bet. I probably need some TAC air, which I don't have. I'd have to rebase the Stukas. Alright, let's move in here and take this base, then we'll move back. Just to get out of danger. We'll see if we can lure any of their troops up from Rezhev to more exposed positions forward. Okay, bombard those guys. Advance the artillery a little bit. That's going to do it for turn number 2. We'll see what happens on turn number 3. Alright, so the KVs come forward as I expected. They do a fair amount of damage, although not quite as much as I expected. The T-34s are actually far more devastating against our tanks there. Enemy cavalry attacks and encircles our armor here. They don't destroy it, they do damage it. Then Soviet tactical bombers come forward here and hit them and do a reasonable amount of damage. Anti-aircraft guns are shooting at our recon planes, but those are light recon planes. They're hard to hit. Counterattack again of their entrenched troops doesn't actually do great. They lose more men than we do. Meanwhile, continued attacks against our howitzers there in the north. Not a fun time. Alright, bombard there. Alright, so I really need to rebase my Stukas south to deal with the enemy counterattack down there. It is going to take a turn, but I think I need to do it. Can the BF-110 get up there? No, it can't. These fighters don't have to protect those Stukas anymore, though, so we're going to go ahead and strafe and finish that unit off. Infantry here. Finished off those anti-tank guns. We moved our armor back into supply to retake that base. We'll attack those cavalry here in the north. So these guys should be back in supply next turn. Alright, so let's swing south, because that's where I'm the most interested. So we'll attack those. Really can't do anything against this KVs. Yeah. Move our infantry up over here to the flank of the woods. There's not a lot I can do about those T-34s. We'll bombard these troops. Our flame panzers. So we're going to actually attack with our infantry here. Switch these guys over. Move this infantry forward here. These pioneers forward here and attack. Finish off that enemy anti-tank gun, which will now ease our Flamen Panzer's assault on these enemy entrenchments. So we'll drive them back. We'll move these guys into the trenches. Hopefully finish off this enemy unit. Yes, got it. Okay. We'll hold those infantry back. But overall, we're making some good progress down at Brzezinsk against some pretty well dug-in enemy troops. The concern is the flank with the enemy armor, although we did... Oh, that was a T-50, not a T-34. Damn. I thought I was doing better than I was. But yeah, that's a concern with the enemy armor over there. I could bring the BF-110s forward here, but the enemy anti-aircraft guns here are a problem. I'm going to hold these guys in place around this airfield approaching Kagula until we can get a little bit closer. I'm going to strat bomb those guys near Vizima in that entrenchment. I'm going to bring this TAC air forward to strafe these KVs. Bring these fighters over here to attack this enemy DB3. Nearly shot it down, too. Alright, this artillery... Let's pound the hell out of these guys. Alright, so we drove those infantry out. Reinforce these guys. Move the armor forward. Invite the counterattack. And then we should be able to finish off some of this infantry here next turn. Recon car will reinforce. How much prestige do I get a turn? 160? That's a reasonable amount. Just those few units, huh? Okay, so move forward to turn number 4. I have no idea if I'm making enough progress or not, Sean Mac. I don't know if I'm doing well because I haven't played this scenario before. MiG-3s and some other air units here fighting around. Meanwhile, they did attack our bombers there. Looks like they only inflicted 1 casualty. 7-1! Yes, infantry. Good job, Ver infantry, against that enemy recon vehicle there. They've got quite a bit of tactical air here. The enemy rocket artillery. Heavy enemy counterattacks there. All along the front, really. I'm just trying to finish off these guys in the north so they're not a problem for me. Alright, meanwhile, our fighters can go after some of these enemy units. Let's see here. First things first, let's use our BF-110s to finish off this enemy bomber, the DB-3. And let's use these guys after... Let's go after their strategic bombers. They're pretty resilient, actually. Whoops. That was not the fighter unit. Almost got it. Alright, those infantry. Alright, so we'll attack here. Drive them back, attack those guys. Nice. Anti-infantry veteran. Alright, a fair amount of enemy air attacks are really kind of hurting us. Recon car here should finish this enemy infantry off. Then retreat. This tank unit here needs reinforcements, so we'll spend that. Pause the attack on Rizhev so we could sort of regroup. We've got so much artillery in and around Vizima that should make that job a lot easier. I hate the idea of leaving these troops to do very little. We're going to move those grenadiers north. Okay. Meanwhile, in the south... A little bit of artillery there, that'll help. Pioneers, false jumpers. Alright, we'll do the Pioneers first. Then the Flame Panzers to pursue. Nice, so they surrendered. Very good. Enemy attacks on the flank. We'll drive them back. Alright, so we'll destroy this recon car on our flank. That MiG-3 I can't do a whole lot against. Because I didn't take out the enemy fighters. Alright, we'll advance those false jumpers here. Go after the... We're gonna have to try and work around their flank. Dwayne Dipley, thanks for the follow. That's a non-core tank. Ramadir Leg, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I mispronounced your name, I know. Alright, let's pull him back. I'm not really sure how to deal with these KVs on the flank. I need those Stukas in action, but with the enemy fighters here, I can't really risk it. So reinforce them. Meanwhile, what's back here? Kursk is an objective, but it's really lightly held. Only 1 infantry, 1 armor, and 1 anti-aircraft there. So once we get there, we can probably turn the enemy position. Guessing the massive Soviet troops are in and around Volgazhsk, Moscow, Malorod, Roosevelt's, Kaluga, and Moscow. The Historical Gamer, butchering pronunciations since 1987. Alright, let's actually swing these troops south. Around the enemy. We can try and flank and surround the troops at Brzezinsk with our recon vehicles. Alright, we'll end the turn. Oh, in general, Sean, I'm doing pretty well. Wow, those light aircraft are pretty resilient even to enemy fighters attacking them. T-34s against our Panzer IIIJs. Panzer IIIJs did okay. 2-1 is not the end of the world. Our tanks against the KV force, though, not so good. Alright, more TAC air coming in on our flame panzers. I really need to take out their TAC air. I've kind of been focusing on their strategic bombers, but that feels like more than a mistake. More than a slight mistake, I would say, at this point. Some of our troops getting caught on a river hex. Enemy infantry moving south from Vrozhima to attack our infantry in the flank here, east of Roosevelt. Okay, we'll attack these guys. Nice. Destroyed them. Finish off this cavalry and retake this city up here in the north. Okay. We'll attack the enemy artillery here. Should do great harm to them. Nice! We forced them to actually surrender. Maybe we can finish off these anti-tank guns? No, not quite. Our armor will, though. Then we'll go after their anti-aircraft. We'll rebuild these flame panzers. Or actually, these are Panzer IIIJs. That's a lot of prestige to spend on them. but I'll do it. Fighters go after the attack air. 7 casualties, nice. Aerial ace level 2, woo! Right. Can you finish these guys off? Please do it. Yeah, got him. All right, so enemy tactical bombers go down there. MiGs are kind of protected by some of their stuff over there. Can't quite get out to the guys I want to get out to here. We'll go after their fighters, though, if only so I can provide some cover for my Stukas, which have to come in here to help against this enemy armored thrust. I will flank. All right, these guys need reinforcements. Couldn't quite finish him off. Damn. Okay, so we finished those rocket artillery units off. We'll move south there to encircle everybody else. Move our recon car in behind to finish off that enemy armored unit. So these Soviet troops are actually all surrounded. It was a good result for us. Okay. So with the enemy surrounded, hopefully we can deal with Brzezinsk relatively quickly. We'll hit these troops first. Some of our own forward troops are actually surrounded also. Grenadiers move in this way, encircling the troops to the north. Okay, pull these guys back, attack those infantry. Reinforce the grenadiers, drive these guys back. Drive them into the river. Alright. Oh, this is a big fight. Panzer IBs are not core. So I'll reinforce them cheaply. And then these Panzer IVFs. Well, still got our recon aircraft. Let's see what's up at Rezhev. 76mm anti-tank. Alright. Let's move these guys adjacent to Rezhev, but not quite on the city. Trying to see, like, what's the encirclement look like? Alright. It's not the tightest encirclement of Brzezinsk. By the way, we're about to get our first sunny day, which I'm assuming will have some influence on the air units' effectiveness. Currently, they're not nearly as effective as they could be. Those T-34s are pursuing our PZ-3Js. That battle was much more in their favor. The KV-1s also continue to attack and drive us back. Ah, shit. These Fallschirmjägers are surrounded, so we'll see if they... Oh, wow. That was not as bad of a counterattack as I thought would happen this turn. Can't quite get south for those guys, but I can hit them with these. And then we'll move our 110s over here to finish these guys off. Got him! Enemy MiG-3 goes down. Alright, KV, your turn to die. 5! Nice. Probably because it's on a river hex, right? I assume. Alright, we'll move our Panzer IIIJ down here. Do exactly what I wanted to do. We'll drive it out of its position. Can we get another... Alright, our recon car will drive south and go for it. And we forced it to surrender. Nice. That's what we want to do. Then we can use our other units here against the enemy anti-air units. Force them to surrender. We use our artillery against these enemy infantry down here. Move our flame panzers in here. Got him. Okay. So we got them. We'll strat bomb these guys. I don't think I have enough attacks left to really go at them. 1 to 5. Nice. That's a good engineer attack there. Alright, we'll finish those guys off next turn. So Brzezinsk should fall next turn. No doubt about that. Supposed to get a couple sunny days. Still nothing really in Orel and Kursk to be worried of. We're going to go after these Soviet Hurricanes. So apparently Lend-Lease is in full sweep. Oh, we got him in one fell swoop! Eat it, Royal Navy, or Royal Air Force. Not Navy. What am I talking about? I'm crazy. All right. I keep spending elite reinforcements on these guys and they keep dying. All right, come hit these guys in the flank, then reinforce. Okay, that was a pretty good result. Meanwhile, infantry attacks there. Drives them back. Pursue. Pursue and destroy. Alright, swing around here to hit the anti-aircraft gun. And you destroyed it. Very good. Have the armor swing around Vizima and encircle them. We'll move the artillery forward here so that it will pound them next turn. We'll have 3 artillery batteries coming in on Vizima. We'll have some Ver infantry also. So I think we might actually take that objective as well. Reinforce the troops in the north. Okay, so I don't want to move them. I think that's going to do it for this turn. Overall, a pretty good one. So move forward to turn number 7. Russian strat bombers are back. Ooh, those must be tactical. They did a very good job there. Breakout attempt by some of their troops failed, but we did lose some heavy casualties there. Meanwhile, some of their infantry continues to attack where their T-34s are. Wow, 5 tanks lost here in a breakout attempt near Vizima. Let's keep strafing those T-34s. Enemy 2-engine bombers down here. Bf-110 is much better against 2-engine bombers. The Tupolev. Almost got it, not quite. Alright, those guys are surrounded. I would think they wouldn't hold up to too much. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Alright, got them. So the artillery will bombard them. Infantry pioneers will assault and overrun. Recon vehicles will swing forth and take the objective. Meanwhile, reinforcements will flow forward to these troops all along the front. Okay. Lots of reinforcements there that turn. And some units got a chance to breathe, and now we can drive on Orel and then swing a few units south for Kursk. That should be relatively easy. Then we can drive north to assist the main operations around Moscow. Meanwhile, we'll pursue this armor up here. Got it. Nice. Encircle that enemy infantry. Couldn't destroy it, but close. So we effectively ended this enemy counterattack coming out of Kaluga with T-34s. Nothing bad goes by driving on Kursk from the north. Indeed, there is nothing that could possibly go wrong. I completely didn't even use my Stuka down here. Alright, I need to shift this guy back north. Probably base it out of here. This is a forward airbase to be basing out of. But hopefully it's safe. Alright, let's bomb the hell out of Vizima. 0 to 5, our Bear infantry will attack. Anti-infantry veteran. Alright. We'll attack with these infantry here against the anti-tank guns. Get a good result there. Attack those guys. Then we're going to actually pull the armor back. So we force the enemy to surrender, which is great. We took the objective. Pull these guys back a little bit so they can reinforce. Move the artillery forward a little bit. Move some of these guys north toward... actually... Oh, shit. I wish I could... no, I don't want to do it quite that aggressively. I would have liked to have moved some of these other units a little bit more aggressively north, though, to assist in the attack on Rizhev. Grants Grunts, thank you for the bits. That's greatly appreciated, dude. I appreciate all the support from everybody. And Cylon, thank you for the follow. The fool. And thanks for the follow. Alright, attack there. I am not worried if the enemy wants to move his troops out to attack my 15 centimeters. That's fine because he'll abandon his entrenchments in Rizhev. Although I guess I can move my... And then I can move my armor in behind him. Although that doesn't surround him for whatever reason. But in any event, I think we'll take Rizhev next turn as well. And then with 22 turns left, we will have all of the objectives shy of Kursk, Orel in the south, and then the main objectives of Kaluga, Marozovelets. Oh my god. Moshkavs. Volko. I hooked on phonics for Russian. I need that. You went North Africa, Kushin? There is a road north, so once I take Kursk and Orel with the troops in the south, then I can drive north toward Kaluga and the rest of the line there. Move those troops forward. Okay, I'm not sure what the enemy has left air unit wise. If they have much of anything. I think they had this one strategic bomber, which I've nearly destroyed. I'm trying to remember if they have anything else. They might. Sometimes units show up as you get closer to objectives. That's going to do it for the turn. And I don't feel like my troops were too bloodied. I definitely lost some casualties and burned through a lot of prestige, but overall I feel like the bulk of my forces are still in relatively good shape as we have to drive south. Enemy T-26s come out to try and counterattack here. Another vicious counterattack against our grenadiers in the south by Soviet infantry. My Stukas will hit these guys. Good job, Stukas. They didn't attack with their air this turn, right? They're probably reinforcing them. So we'll move our fighters up here to strafe these guys. We'll finish off these anti-tank guns down there. Move my artillery south here to bombard these guys. Attack hopefully without loss and wipe that infantry unit out. Nope, not quite. We'll pursue with our grenadiers and destroy them. Still not destroying them. They really don't want to die, huh? What kind of jerks are they? Alright, finally got him. Alright. Kind of prevented me from doing what I wanted to do. These pioneers. So I just took some pretty bloody losses trying to take Rizhev. I took it. That was probably more expensive than I wanted it to be. Nonetheless, most of the troops up there in the north are not core units. You don't use elite reinforcements at all, almost at all. I mean, I don't know if it's a mistake. I probably use them too much. There's definitely a balance you probably want to strike. And I probably don't do a good job of that. Alright, so let's take Orel first. Okay. Why am I going to get penalized so much for attacking them? I'll get 1 to 4 there, but... Encircle them, 1 to 4. I don't quite understand the logic. Flaming Panzer, reinforce it. Do I have any airfields down here that I can rebase to, or is it just the... Oh yeah, I've got that one. Alright, let's... Rebase these guys. Alright, we should overrun these guys and then be able to attack the infantry. No? Damn it. Those Russians are damn stubborn. No one ever said that before. Yep. I mean, that's definitely what happens in my game, Kushin. I very quickly run out of prestige. But that is a price I'm willing to pay. Sometimes. To keep great units. But yeah, it's a balancing act as we move forward to turn number 9. It's interesting how almost this entire battle has been very... Oh, more armor coming up from the south? Shit. Well, they surprised my recon car there. Thought I was going to be oh so clever and outflank him. Instead, they had some T-34s come out of nowhere. T-28s against our... I guess, I don't even know what these are. The 15 centimeters are probably more like mortars, right? Alright guys, we just finished a turn. We're at about the halfway mark for this battle in terms of the length of the stream. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Hope you guys enjoyed the first part of the drive on Moscow, the battle for the gates of Moscow. Things are pretty interesting. We're having some success in places, but not as much in others. I think it's a pretty tense battle, but we'll see how things unfold next time. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm out.